To silence the weak, turn your pain into power, and learn with precision, not for entertainment. You will step into environments that crush the comfortable. Observe before you speak, and cut the noise until only clarity remains. Every defeat will sharpen you. Every distraction will die in your presence. You will operate with such ruthless focus that the world won't just notice you. It will fear the mind you've built. This isn't motivation. This is war for your future. Control your mind or it will control you. That is the law. That is the choice. You are either the master of your thoughts or their slave. Every empire, every fortune, every life of significance was first built in the battlefield of the mind. Before the world bows to you, your mind must bow to you. If you cannot command your own thoughts, you will be commanded by the chaos of the world. And chaos never has your best interest in mind. Your thoughts are not harmless. They are seeds. Each one you allow to take root grows into actions, habits, and a destiny. Let the wrong thoughts plant themselves, and you will watch your life fill with weeds, envy, fear, doubt, procrastination, until nothing strong can grow. But if you plant with precision, discipline, courage, determination, your mind becomes a fertile field for victories that others will call impossible. Most people have no walls guarding their mind. They let anything in. Opinions from the unqualified, fear from the news, self-doubt from their past. They scroll endlessly, letting strangers rent space in their head for free. Then they wonder why their focus is weak, why their motivation disappears, why they can't finish what they start. The answer is simple. Their mind is under enemy control. You must declare war on mental weakness. Start by deciding that no thought lives in your mind rent-free unless it serves your mission. Ruthlessly evict the useless. When a thought whispers, "You can't do this," interrogate it. Where did it come from? Who sent it? Why is it here? 9 times out of 10, you will find it came from someone else's failure, someone else's fear. That is not your inheritance. Send it out. Replace it with a thought that fuels you. The mind is like a muscle. It grows stronger under pressure, or it withers under neglect. That's why comfort is dangerous. Comfort makes the mind lazy. It stops asking questions. It stops solving problems. It stops reaching. But discomfort, challenge, risk, high stakes, forces the mind to expand. It sharpens, it adapts, it learns faster. That's why every time life pushes you into difficulty, you should thank it. The sharper the blade, the harder the steel was beaten. Control is not just about keeping bad thoughts out. It's about directing the good thoughts in. Feed your mind what makes it sharper. Read with intention, not just entertainment. Study the moves of people who have achieved what you desire, not the gossip of those who have not. Spend time with thinkers who make you feel small because they will stretch you. And when you speak, speak with precision. Every careless word is a leak in your mental fortress. The secret to mastering your mind is this. You must see thoughts as tools, not masters. A tool sits in your hand. You decide when to use it. If you need courage, you summon it. If you need patience, you call for it. If you need strategy, you shape it. You do not let fear pick up the pen and write your story. You do not let anger grab the wheel and drive your future into a wall. Your emotions are nothing but energy, raw, untamed, waiting to be directed. Left uncontrolled, they will waste themselves in complaining, worrying, or attacking what doesn't matter. But controlled, they can be concentrated into massive action. Fear becomes preparation. Anger becomes drive. Doubt becomes investigation. Every emotion has power if you hold the reins. Most will never understand this discipline because most want comfort more than control. They would rather be entertained than enlightened. They would rather be distracted than disciplined. And so their minds become playgrounds for anyone with a louder voice or a shinier screen. That is not your path. You will rise each day and command your thoughts before the world does. You will decide what you feed your mind, and you will feed it with precision. You will not hand over your mental real estate to people who haven't built anything. You will treat every thought like a soldier in your army. Either it fights for you or it's discharged immediately. You will observe more than you speak, because every word shapes thought, and every thought shapes destiny. You will choose environments that sharpen you. You will avoid mental pollution like poison. You will use every loss as a lesson, every pain as data, every challenge as training. And in time, your mind will not just be under control, it will be a weapon so sharp that people will feel its edge in your words, your actions, and your results. They will wonder how you always know what to do, how you always move with precision, how you never seem shaken. The truth is simple. Your mind obeys you. Control your mind, and you control your future. Let it run wild, and you hand your future to the winds. The choice is daily, the practice is endless, but the reward is unstoppable power. Your life will always rise to the level of your thinking. Make your thinking dangerous. Make it disciplined. Make it yours. Because the day your mind becomes your servant, you will be unstoppable. And the world will have no choice but to follow the one who has mastered the most powerful force on earth, the mind. Hunger creates intelligence. Not books alone, not degrees, not titles, hunger. The mind grows sharp when it has something to chase. Desire fuels focus, and focus forges the kind of intelligence that cannot be taught in classrooms. A starving wolf learns more about survival in a week than a fed one learns in a lifetime. The same is true for you. When you are hungry for a goal, your brain shifts into high alert. Every detail matters. Every pattern becomes visible. You begin to notice opportunities where others see nothing. You connect dots that others don't even know exist. Your senses sharpen, your memory strengthens, and your creativity explodes not because you suddenly became smarter, but because hunger forced your mind to wake up. Comfort kills this instinct. When you have enough, you stop looking. When everything is safe, your mind drifts into sleep mode. You consume without purpose. You speak without thinking. You move without strategy. Comfort convinces you that you can afford to waste time. Hunger teaches you that every second matters. Hunger is not about desperation. It's about drive. Desperation makes you reckless. Drive makes you strategic. A hungry mind doesn't just act, it plans. It learns what it needs to learn and ignores everything else. It knows that energy and attention are currency, and it spends them only where the return will be massive. When you want something badly enough, your brain becomes a machine for finding solutions. You start asking better questions. You start seeing through obstacles instead of stopping at them. You begin to strip away the unnecessary until all that remains is what moves you forward. That is intelligence, cutting away noise until only truth remains. Look at the great innovators, leaders, conquerors. They were all hungry. Hungry to solve, hungry to win, hungry to create. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They built with whatever was in front of them. They didn't stop to ask for permission. They created results so undeniable that permission was irrelevant. If you've ever wondered why you feel stagnant, why your mind feels dull, ask yourself, what are you hungry for right now? If the answer is nothing, then you've found the problem. The brain without hunger becomes a storage unit for random information. The brain with hunger becomes a weapon. You don't need to have every resource. You don't need to know every answer. You need to have a reason so big that your mind cannot rest until it finds a way. The student with a burning dream will outlearn the one with the best books. The fighter with a reason to win will outthink the one with better training. The person who refuses to quit will outsmart the one who only works when it's easy. Hunger turns pain into fuel. It rewires your relationship with failure. When you are hungry enough, failure is not an ending, it's just data. You analyze it, adapt, and keep moving. You can't be humiliated into quitting because hunger does not care about ego, it cares about the goal. The beauty of hunger is that it multiplies intelligence without you even noticing. You'll push yourself into learning skills you once avoided. You'll memorize details without forcing it. You'll understand patterns you never studied formally. The mind, when hungry, becomes like water. It finds a way around, under, or through any obstacle. Hunger is the engine, but discipline is the driver. Desire without control burns out fast. That's why you must channel it. Wake up every day and feed your hunger with action. Read what matters. Listen to what strengthens you. Train your mind on problems worth solving. Protect your energy from distractions that starve your focus. You will find that hunger is contagious. When you live with that kind of fire, it makes others curious. They'll want to know why you move so fast, why you think so clearly, why you seem to always find a way. They won't see the internal work. They won't see the nights you spent studying, the hours you spent testing, the endless refining of strategy. They'll just call it talent because they don't understand that hunger trained your mind. This is why the most dangerous person in any room is the one who still wants more, not greedily but purposefully. Hunger keeps you learning when others have stopped. Hunger keeps you alert when others are relaxed. Hunger keeps you uncomfortable in a way that forces growth. So never let your hunger die. Feed it with bigger visions. Starve it of excuses. Give it challenges that scare you. Surround it with people who raise your standard. Guard it from comfort disguised as success. Because the day you lose hunger is the day your intelligence begins to decay. If you stay hungry, you will never stop learning. If you never stop learning, you will never stop winning. And when your hunger drives your intelligence, people will not just see you as smart, they will see you as unstoppable. The truth is simple. Hunger creates intelligence, and intelligence creates power. And in this world, power belongs to the ones who want it enough to keep, sharpening their mind long after everyone else has gone to sleep. Stay hungry, stay sharp, and watch what happens when the world tries to compete with a mind that refuses to be satisfied. All right, here's your silence, weak opinions expansion into a full 800 word. There are no headings, high-intensity motivational speech in the sharp, commanding style you want. Silence, weak opinions are not with your words, but with your results. You do not rise by arguing with small minds. You rise by making their noise irrelevant. Weak opinions have no real power. They survive only when you give them oxygen. The moment you stop feeding them with your attention, they starve. Every person who has ever done anything significant has been told they couldn't, that they were foolish, that they should stop. And every one of those opinions came from a place of limitation, not vision. People speak from the ceiling of their own experience. If their ceiling is low, their words will always tell you to crouch. You cannot build an empire while negotiating with people who have never built a single wall. Weak opinions sound loud because they come from the majority. The majority have no risk, no skin in the game, no understanding of what it takes to turn a vision into reality. Their talk is cheap because they pay nothing for it. You, on the other hand, pay in time, sweat, sacrifice. The danger is not that weak opinions exist. It's that they can weaken you if you let them take root in your mind. A single doubt, repeated often enough, can start to feel like truth. That is why you must treat weak opinions like poison. The moment you hear one, you recognize it, isolate it, and remove it before it spreads. The strongest response to doubt is progress. Not explanation, not debate, progress. When you execute, you create facts. And facts are louder than words. Every step you take toward your goal is another nail in the coffin of those weak opinions. Eventually, even the loudest critic goes silent. Not because you convinced them, but because you proved them irrelevant. When you waste time defending yourself, you slow your own momentum. Every second you spend explaining your vision is a second you could have been building it. If someone cannot see the path you're walking, that's their blindness, not your burden. Your job is not to convert the doubters. It's to complete the mission so completely that there's nothing left to say. Silencing weak opinions doesn't mean ignoring all criticism. Strong minds value strong feedback. But there's a difference between the opinion of someone who's been where you want to go and someone who's never even left their comfort zone. One is a map, the other is noise. Learn the difference fast, because your time is your sharpest weapon. Weak opinions often come disguised as concern. I'm just trying to help. I don't want to see you fail. But if their help is only warning you of why it won't work without offering any solution, it's not help, it's projection. They are handing you their fears, hoping you'll carry them. Don't. You already have enough weight to lift. The truth is, most weak opinions are a reflection of the speaker's own limitations. If they can't imagine themselves doing it, they assume you can't either. If they gave up when it got hard, they expect you to give up too. Your job is to break that expectation without even addressing it. The only language weak opinions understand is results. When the business they said would fail starts thriving. When the skill they mocked you for learning turns into a weapon they can't match. When the discipline they called too much becomes the reason you're untouchable. That is how you silence them. Not by lowering your voice to argue, but by raising your standard until they can't reach it. Every time you let weak opinions shake you, you train yourself to doubt your own instincts. Every time you ignore them and move forward, you strengthen your own voice. That voice is the one that matters. The voice in your head is either your greatest ally or your worst enemy. And if you fill it with other people's limitations, it will work against you. So guard your mental space like you guard your time. Don't let just anyone in. Don't entertain conversations that make you smaller. Don't seek validation from people whose only contribution is telling you what can't be done. Keep your focus locked on those who challenge you to aim higher, not those who try to pull you lower. The road to greatness is noisy. Every step forward will attract 100 voices trying to slow you down. But here's the truth. They only get louder when they sense you're about to break through. That's when you double down. That's when you stop talking completely and let your work answer every question they haven't even asked yet. Silence weak opinions by moving so fast they can't keep up, by creating so much value they can't deny you, by becoming so consistent that their doubt turns into disbelief, and their disbelief turns into silence. And when they finally see what you've built, they will pretend they always believed. Let them. Your focus was never on proving them wrong. It was on proving yourself right, because in the end, the loudest sound in the world is not an argument. It's success. And success has a way of making even the weakest opinions disappear without a word. Turn pain into mental ammunition. Most people run from pain. The strong collect it, load it, and fire it back at the obstacles in their way. Pain is not just something you survive, it's something you weaponize. Every wound, every rejection, every betrayal is raw material. Left unused, it rots. Used correctly, it becomes the sharpest edge in your arsenal. Pain has a way of focusing the mind. When you've been hit hard enough, you stop wasting time. You stop tolerating nonsense. You stop asking for permission. Pain strips away the luxury of laziness. It forces you to pay attention, to analyze, to calculate. It trains your mind to scan for solutions instead of sympathy. The world tells you pain is a setback. It's not. Pain is a signal. It's data. It tells you what went wrong, where the weakness was, what needs to be fortified. Pain exposes the cracks in your armor so you can reinforce them. Every time you ignore that data, you leave yourself open to the same hit again. Every time you use it, you become harder to hurt. Most people use pain as an excuse to stop. You will use it as a reason to keep going. When you feel it, you will not just endure it, you will study it. You will extract the lesson, the strategy, the fuel. You will take the very thing meant to break you and turn it into the reason you can't be broken. Pain builds mental toughness faster than comfort ever will. Comfort makes the mind soft. Pain forces it to adapt. A mind that has adapted to pain learns to think under pressure, to remain calm. In chaos, to make decisions when everything feels like it's falling apart. That is the kind of intelligence you can't buy. You have to bleed for it. But pain is only power if you refuse to waste it. Wasting pain looks like self-pity, endless complaining, or numbing yourself with distractions. Using pain looks like breaking it down piece by piece until it becomes a blueprint for your next move. Every heartbreak can teach you about people. Every failure can teach you about systems. Every loss can teach you about preparation. If you're willing to look, pain always leaves you a gift. When you turn pain into mental ammunition, you become unpredictable. People expect pain to slow you down. They expect it to make you cautious, timid, afraid. When it makes you faster, sharper, and more dangerous instead, you shatter their calculations. That's how you win against opponents with more resources or more experience. You use what they throw at you as fuel to outthink them. The key is not to let pain make you bitter. Bitterness wastes the energy you could be using to build. Anger can be useful if you aim it, but if you let it spill everywhere, it burns you more than your enemies. Pain is meant to be concentrated, compressed, and aimed directly at the target in front of you. That's how it becomes ammunition instead of dead weight. You don't have to like pain. You don't have to pretend it doesn't hurt, but you do have to respect it. It has something to teach you, and if you shut it out, you miss the lesson. Some of the sharpest minds in history were forged through relentless struggle, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they refused to waste it. Every time you turn pain into power, you raise your threshold. What once would have broken you becomes easy to carry. The next hit doesn't slow you down, it wakes you up. And that's when you become dangerous, because life can no longer push you off course with discomfort. Your enemies, your critics, the people who doubt you, they're handing you ammunition without realizing it. Every insult is proof you're on their radar. Every setback is an opportunity to refine your strategy. Every door that slams is a reminder to build your own. If you store that energy instead of throwing it away, you will have more firepower than anyone who has lived without resistance. The truth is, the most intelligent strategies often come from the most painful experiences. A bad business deal teaches you to read contracts twice. A failed launch teaches you where your systems are weak. A betrayal teaches you how to choose allies more carefully. This is wisdom you can't Google. You earn it in the field. So the next time pain finds you, don't run. Stand still and take inventory. Ask it what it's trying to teach you. Then write that lesson into your playbook. Turn the emotion into action, the setback into a step forward, the loss into leverage. That's how you turn pain into mental ammunition, by refusing to let it pass through you without giving you something in return. Pain will visit you again. It visits everyone, but for most people it's an enemy. For you, it will be an ally, not because it's pleasant, but because it's useful. And when you can look at pain and see not just hurt, but fuel, you will have one of the rarest advantages in the world. In the end, the difference between those who quit and those who conquer is simple. Quitters let pain drain them. Conquerors let pain arm them. Be a conqueror. Collect every hit, every scar, every rejection, and load it into the chamber. Then aim it at the next obstacle and pull the trigger. Because when you master this skill, life will realize it can't stop you. It can only sharpen you. And there is nothing more dangerous than a mind armed with the very pain meant to destroy it. Strategic learning over endless consuming. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is. The world is full of people who read, watch, and listen all day yet remain powerless because they never direct that knowledge toward a purpose. Endless consuming is mental obesity. You get heavier with information, slower with decision-making, weaker with execution. Strategic learning is the opposite. It's targeted, lean, and built for action. The mind only grows sharper when it is fed with intention. Most people devour information with no filter. They watch random videos, read random articles, listen to random voices. They confuse movement with progress, thinking that because they're learning, they're getting ahead. But in reality, they're just filling their heads with clutter. Strategic learning begins with clarity. You must know exactly what you're trying to achieve, and then you train your mind only on what gets you there faster. If the information doesn't move you closer to your goal, it's noise. If it doesn't solve a problem you're facing, it's a distraction disguised as education. Every minute you spend learning something irrelevant is a minute stolen from mastering what matters. You don't have to know everything. You have to know the right things deeply. The world rewards depth, not random trivia. A shallow mind is easy to impress, but hard to rely on. A focused mind becomes a weapon that can cut through complexity with precision. This is why the most successful people are selective about what they study. They don't try to master 10 different things at once. They zero in on the skill, the strategy, or the system that will give them the biggest return. They learn it until it becomes muscle memory. Then they move on to the next most valuable skill, stacking one advantage on top of another. Endless consuming keeps you in theory. Strategic learning pushes you into practice. You don't just read about negotiation, you negotiate. You don't just watch videos about building, you build. You don't just study success, you reverse engineer it and apply it in your own environment. If you want to be dangerous in any field, you must become allergic to irrelevant information. This means saying no to trends that don't align with your mission. It means refusing to let curiosity lead you into endless rabbit holes that have no return. Curiosity is good, but undirected curiosity will eat years of your life. Strategic learning is about speed and precision. You identify the target, you gather the most relevant knowledge, you test it in the real world, and you refine it based on results. It's a loop of learning and applying, not just collecting. Every cycle makes you sharper, faster, and more valuable. Endless consumers wait until they feel ready. Strategic learners know readiness is a trap. They start before they feel ready and learn in motion. Action forces you to retain the right lessons because now you have something real at stake. When the outcome matters, you learn faster. The brain learns best through necessity. When you commit to something you must deliver, your mind will filter and process information differently. Suddenly, every piece of knowledge is weighed for its usefulness. Irrelevant details vanish, essential facts stick. This is how you compress years of learning into months. The irony is that endless consumers often think they're behind because they don't know enough. In reality, they know too much that doesn't matter and too little that does. They've spread themselves so thin across so many subjects that they can't execute on any of them with authority. You will not make that mistake. You will be ruthless about your inputs. Every book, video, conversation, and mentor will be chosen for a reason. Every piece of knowledge you take in will be measured by one standard. Does this move me forward right now? If not, it's discarded. This discipline turns your mind into a precision instrument. Instead of carrying a backpack full of random tools, you carry a sharpened blade you know how to use in any situation. You become known not for knowing everything, but for being deadly accurate in the areas that matter. And here's the truth. Most people will never have the discipline to do this. They are addicted to passive learning because it feels safe. It makes them feel productive without risking anything. But passive learning is a trap. It gives you the illusion of progress while keeping you exactly where you are. Strategic learning is uncomfortable because it demands action. It forces you to face the gap between what you think you know and what you can actually do. But that discomfort is where real growth lives. Every time you step into the arena and apply what you've learned, you discover the next most important thing to study. This creates an unbreakable feedback loop of learning and execution. The result? You rise faster than those who study endlessly but never move. You start making connections others miss. You become the person people come to not for opinions, but for solutions. And you earn that position not by knowing everything, but by knowing exactly what matters and mastering it. So stop filling your head just to feel busy. Stop chasing every idea just because it's interesting. Train your mind like a soldier trains with a weapon, deliberately with purpose and with the intention to use it. Strategic learning over endless consuming. That's how you build an edge. That's how you stay ahead. And that's how you turn knowledge from a hobby into a weapon that makes you unstoppable. Choose environments that challenge you. If the people and places around you do not force you to level up, they are holding you down. Growth does not happen in comfort. Comfort breeds weakness. The mind and body adapt to whatever is normal, and if your normal is too easy, you will get weaker without realizing it. To grow stronger, faster, and sharper, you must live where the standard is higher than yours. The right environment will demand your best every single day. It will not allow excuses. It will not care about your comfort. It will expose your weaknesses and force you to fix them. That's why most people avoid challenging environments. They don't want to be reminded of how much better they could be. But if you want to be powerful, if you want to be dangerous in your field, you must seek those places that make you feel small in the beginning. When you are the smartest, strongest, or most skilled person in the room, you stop growing. Your mind becomes stagnant because there's nothing pushing against it. But when you step into a room full of people who are better than you, your survival instincts activate. You watch, you learn, you adapt, you move differently because now every mistake costs you. Pressure is not your enemy, it's your teacher. Environments that challenge you force you to think faster, plan deeper, and execute cleaner. They sharpen your instincts. They keep